Welcome to this Sahara 4 exercise. In this exercise, we will learn how to visualize the well nodes that we have imported in the previous exercise in the production window. For that, we will go to our Sahara project, and once here, we will open a previous template that we had created when we were visualizing the ESP data a couple of exercises back. And here, select ESP, the ESP template. Here, let's select a well with an ESP, the D7 well. And here, as we discussed previously, the information displays the oil production in the top versus the liquid production, both with the dates in the x-axis. Here in the middle graph we have the water ratio in red, oil production in green, and liquid production in black. But instead of using dates as the x-axis, we're using the NP, the net produced oil commodity production. And finally, we created in that exercise an extra plot that is going to show the relationship between the total liquid that the well is producing and the maximum allowed rate and the minimum for that ESP coming from the extraction system information loaded in that exercise, and also the optimal in green um, also display as well. So now the idea is to add some nodes here. They have already been imported, so the only thing that we have to do is to show them. For that, we will go to here in the plot. We have inside the branch associated to the plot, before the axis, we have the nodes branch here. Each different plot is going to have a branch associated to nodes. So we can see here that in this case we have also another submenu nodes here, another one here, and finally another one here, one for each different plot. Once here, the idea is to select them with this button here, show, and now we will select them and check which categories are active. In this case, we can see that these are all the categories that we have associated to the nodes in this project, and none of them are active at the moment. So the idea is just to select and show the user nodes. Here we will click on them and go OK. So here we see that we have two different symbols here, and we have the nodes, which in this case are in Spanish, but we will edit them later. The idea is to have now these two different red dots that are our nodes associated to these different dates. The dates when the pump was first plugged in, and the date when they decided to remove this pump and change it for this other smaller one. So yeah, we have these two different pumps here. A note here, we can use the variable window, and as mentioned earlier, we will look for nodes here, and we have the nodes variables. Here we see that we have in this category variable, we have the current variables associated to each different kind of nodes. And here we can see that we have, for example, general nodes, meeting nodes, drill nodes, workover nodes, pulling nodes, pending nodes, and other nodes. Here, as we discussed previously, you can add other categories and use them when importing. For example, let's say that we have ESP nodes, and here we have to define a reference, and we can define the symbol. In this case, this symbol is what we will visualize when we plot them in the production window. So you can modify the color, which is going to represent this kind of node, and also the different symbols that you will have available. In this case, the nodes that we previously visualized in the previous plot, in the ESP plot, was a general node. That is what is a red dot here. So in this case, we won't save any changes and just click on close here. As you can see, we have these ones here, and we can also increase their size if we want to have them more easily visualized here. And we can also visualize the text. In this case, it's not very useful because it's just too much text in too little space for the plot. And also the comments, in the case that we have any, are going to be plotted next to the user node. So that will be everything for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we will do some manual edition of the notes, and the idea is to translate them, in this case these two notes, to English. So that will be everything for this tutorial, and thank you for watching.